Congratulations. You want to form an LLC in Illinois? This is a great decision. The state is wonderful when it comes to regulations, when it comes to LLC protection, LLC owner rights protection. The state is great when it comes to the fiscal landscape, if you will. And what we love about Illinois is that you can register your LLC and get your paperwork within 24 hours if you choose the expedited path. Okay, but if you want to go to the normal path, you can be formed in you can actually have an LLC formed in Illinois in less than 3 days. So the possibilities are there. What we love about Illinois also is that they're constantly sort of improving the regulatory landscape for business owners, not just for LLC owners, but also for S corporation owners, but also for C corporation owners and other forms of business structures. So I'm talking here about LPs, and so on and so forth. So when you think about Illinois and you think about a limited liability company in Illinois, you have to have a certain you have to follow a certain steps. First of all, make sure the name is available. Okay, so you do not want to choose a name that has some copyright infringement sort of violation. You don't want to have that because this is a long struggle with Illinois courts. You don't want to do so. Make sure the name is available. And the good thing is, if you see a name, let's say you have a name right now, right? And the name is great, but you're not ready to form your Illinois LLC. What you do is you can reserve the name up to 90 days. In some cases, they can actually extend the reservation all the way to 6 months. So you can reserve the name, and when you're ready, you come in and then really file your paperwork. Now, the thing is that name reservation actually carries a cost, or you might have to pay something, and the fees actually varies. But yeah, this is a great opportunity. Okay, and consider also, as I said earlier, consider actually going the expedited path so that you can be formed in Illinois real fast. And what I want to say here is that in some cases, I think it really makes sense to choose the services of a formation company. Like, you have a lot of companies that do LLC formation services in Illinois, and also trying to think about a registered agent. Okay, and those are really important. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Let me give you the steps that you need to really follow right now. So, there are 5 primary steps. If you want to form an LLC in Illinois, there are 5 important steps. The first thing you need to do is naming the LLC. I think I've said this before, but see, the thing is, when we talk about naming the LLC, your Illinois LLC, this is not just like, calling your Illinois LLC John Doe LLC, or no. There are some I would say some regulations, or some compliance. Like, there are some rules that you need to follow if you have to name your Illinois LLC. So basically, your business name provides potential customers and investors with their first impression of your brand, right? So be sure to choose a name that conveys the image you want to project, and one that you will want to stick with long term. So the naming requirements for Illinois LLCs: basically, under Illinois state law, an LLC name must contain one of the following designators. In other words, separate and apart from any other words or abbreviations. So it can be L.L.C. LLC, or a limited liability company. So those are the 3 designators that you are allowed under Illinois state law to have. Okay, and note that unlike most states, Illinois does not allow LLC business names to include the abbreviations limited, so LTD dot or co dot. Okay, the name of your LLC cannot have a name that makes it sound like a corporation or a limited partnership. That means the words corporation, co dot, corp dot, incorporated, inc dot, limited partnership, or LP are not allowed in your business name. This is very important. Okay, and so this is one thing you need to really understand. And I also want to talk to you about Illinois assumed business name. So if you want to conduct business under a different, let's say, a different moniker than your official company name, you will need an Illinois assumed business name. An assumed business name, actually, those names also need to be registered with the Secretary of State. And an assumed business name is often used when an LLC wants to do things like sell, launch new product lines, or open a store without having to form a whole new business entity. So this is really important. And as I said before, you can also reserve your business name, not a problem. Okay, and you can reserve the name from somewhere from 5 days all the way to 90 days, and in some cases, 190 days. So this is fantastic. Also, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to start an LLC in Illinois. The second thing you need to do is the first step, you need to name your Illinois LLC. Second step, you need to appoint a registered agent in Illinois, okay? And all LLCs in Illinois are required to have a registered agent. And so basically, this is an individual or a business entity who will receive important legal notices on behalf of your business. So the whole thing here is that, from time to time, you might have to receive legal paperwork from the state or from people who want to sue you. And this happens. I mean, if you're in business, this happens in business. So the thing is that your Illinois registered agent must reside in Illinois or be an entity authorized to conduct business in the state, have a physical address in Illinois. So a PO box will not suffice. And a registered agent's responsibilities include being available during regular business hours to receive notices. So again, this is called service of process, and also accepting legal notices and important government mail. And so the thing is that you can serve as your own registered agent, not a problem, okay? But the thing is that just make sure that you are available during regular business hours at all times, and also make sure that you are also comfortable receiving for let's say, being served with the notice that your LLC has been sued or has had legal action taken against it in front of clients or investors. Okay, so those are things you need to really think about. That's why a lot of folks like to segregate the duties of a registered agent from their own business affairs. In other words, they just want to actually outsource the whole operation to a third party so they can actually just focus on running the business. So this is very important. And the thing here is that you need to understand, if the state cannot find your Illinois statutory agent, then you have a problem, because failure to maintain a registered agent could even result in the forced dissolution of your LLC. And you can also incur the wrath of the state. You can actually be fined. So this is really so those, like, not having a registered agent carries consequences. Okay, so that's what it is. Now the thing is that to avoid problems with your registered agent address, many business owners that we actually have seen, they opt to use professional registered agent services. And when you sign up for a registered agent service, basically the service partners, okay, will always be available to receive important legal, tax, and other notices on behalf of your LLC from the state of Illinois. And this is really important. The third thing you have to do is to file Illinois articles of organization. So this is an important element, because step number one, you name your Illinois LLC. Step number two, you need to appoint a registered agent in Illinois. Step number three, you need to basically file those Illinois articles of organization. And this is actually called Form LLC-5.5. Okay, those are the formation documents that officially register your LLC in the state. And to form your LLC, you'll file those documents with the Illinois Secretary of State, Department of Business Services, Limited Liability Division, and you have to pay your filing fee of $150 as of the date of this show. Okay, so $150 right now. So you can file your articles of organization via mail, in person, or by completing the online application. I just want to say once again, you file those documents with the Illinois Secretary of State, Department of Business Services, Limited Liability Division. Okay, and when we talk about information that is needed for your Illinois LLC articles of organization, you basically need to have the name of your LLC in Illinois, including the LLC designator. Remember, L.C. right, or LLC or limited liability company. You need to have your business address, so the address of your LLC's principal place of business. You need to have the effective date rather of your articles of organization, and the name and address of your registered agent, your Illinois LLC's purpose, your LLC's term of existence, the names and business addresses of the initial managers or any members having the authority of manager, optional provisions such as management structure or other provisions that will be included in an operating agreement. So, for instance, if you want to be a member managed or a manager managed LLC, and you got to have the signature of the organizer or organizers. Okay, and so this is kind of cool. Now, as I said before, you have the option to expedite your filing. So the Secretary of State generally takes approximately 10 days to process and approve Illinois Articles of Organization. However, you can also expedite your filing to 24-hour service, excluding weekends and holidays for an additional fee. So this is kind of important. And so what I want to say is that you have all kinds of possibilities when it comes to LLCs in Illinois. You have PLCs, professional limited liability companies. You have series LLCs; those are basically are allowed. You also have low profit LLCs. So again, you have all kinds of LLCs, LLC possibilities in the state of Illinois. You also, as I said before, you can have a member managed or a manager managed LLC. Also, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to form an LLC in Illinois. The next thing you want to do here is to create an operating agreement. So basically, so we have articles of organization and we have operating agreement. Now, an operating agreement is kind of cool because you are able to actually, I think the most important thing is that you want to clarify how your LLC, your Illinois LLC will operate. Okay, while now required by Illinois state law, an operating agreement lays out how your LLC will be run from day to day. Okay, and so you have a lot of benefits when it comes to an LLC operating agreement. So you have you are able to avoid disagreements over assets and responsibilities. You have the ability to customize company rules and procedures. You are able to spell the details of how your business will be operated and managed. And I'm talking about like really in all granularity. You have to be really detailed here. And you are able to create a succession plan in case members leave the company or pass away. And you are able to make your business look more legitimate in the eyes of the courts, okay? Because the courts basically will start thinking, okay, you have a legit business here because everything is clearly laid out. Everything is, again, I want to insist on the fact that it has to be granular, it has to be detailed, it has to be comprehensive. And so basically, if you were to write an LLC operating agreement, basically you want to include details such as the management structure of your Illinois LLC. Again, is it member managed or manager managed? You want to have a succession plan in case your members basically disband, so to speak. Ownership allocation: who gets what share of profits? The process for admitting new members. Who has authority to act on behalf of the business? And you also might want to put their plans for dissolution and winding up. Those are really, nobody wants to talk about those things, but you want to actually plan ahead, right? And the thing is that if you are the only owner of your Illinois LLC, it's always a great idea. It's great practices, best practices to have an operating agreement just in case later on you want to actually invite other members in, or if there is a problem and you go to court, at least the court will look at your operating agreement and say, okay, here is how this LLC is run. The next thing you want to do is to apply for an EIN. So an EIN stands for an employer identification number. So this happens with the IRS. So everything you have done so far, so step number 1 all the way to number 4, you actually do it with the state. Now with the EIN, you don't do it with the state, even though you might have an Illinois EIN, but generally all states go with the federal EIN. So you actually talk to the IRS to actually get your EIN. So when we talk about EIN, an employer identification number, you can file paperwork actually online and get your EIN within 10 minutes, okay? You don't have to wait for 2 months or 2 years, whatever, no. But if you can also file you can file manually. And there's a form called SS4, SS-4. And if you file manually, it might take like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you get an answer from the IRS. Either way, when you file electronically, when you file by fax, or you file over the phone, or even via regular mail, you're going to get an answer from the IRS. Okay. So, but when you file online, you get your EIN within 10 minutes, as I said before, and this is kind of cool. So you can start using your EIN right away, even before getting the official notice from the IRS. The good thing is that when you get an EIN, you can open a bank account. You can enter into business contracts. You can actually have net 30 accounts. You can build business credit. This is really important. You can get a business credit card. You can get a business loan. You can you can do a lot of things with the EIN. Okay. Now, mind you, a lot of banks, a lot of lenders will still want to check your personal credit, but having an EIN allows you to build business credit. If you're going to have an LLC in Illinois, at some point you really want to build business credit because that's going to allow you to actually expand and really get more funding. So this really helps. And one thing I want to say here is that you also have the possibility to convert your LLC, your Illinois LLC, into an S corporation. So this is totally possible, not a problem. And it's one of those things where, again, things happen at the federal level. You do not have to convert your LLC into an S corporation at the state level. You do this at the federal level, and then it applies. That conversion, that new election applies to when it comes to filing state taxation, when it comes to filing your state tax returns at the Illinois state level. Okay, so this is really important to keep that in mind. Let me close to this conversation by really clarifying a few things for you. If you're interested in forming an LLC in Illinois, it's really important to say that the state fees for forming an LLC in Illinois, they start at about $150 as of the date of this show. Okay, so this is like the fees the fee you need to actually pay to file your articles of organization, and you may also pay other fees depending on factors such as your method of filing and whether you choose to have your filing expedited. Okay, keep in mind that these fees will change over time, so you should check the Illinois Secretary of State website for the most recent fee schedule. And also, the cool thing is that you can also hire a third party to kind of help you out. Okay, and the thing is, when you have an LLC in Illinois, you have all kinds of benefits. First of all, of course, you are able to separate your personal assets and liabilities, right, from your companies. You also have many protections when it comes to the ability to build business credit, the ability to get actually a funding, the ability to actually do other stuff. Like basically, you are able to run your business separately, and if something were to happen, somebody were to sue you, you are able to segregate your personal assets from your business assets. Okay, and so in Illinois, LLC is taxed at the state level, but you also have at the federal level. Now, of course, when we talk about LLCs in general, we're speaking about we don't have double taxation. Okay, so the LLC itself doesn't pay taxes at the company level, but you have to pay taxes when you file your paperwork with the federal. So on your 1040, or when you file your Illinois state obviously state income tax. Yeah, this is for individuals. This is kind of important. And one thing I want to say here is that you also don't forget, you also have to register with the Illinois Department of Revenue. If you have an LLC there, you got to register with them. And so they'll give you a number. Now that number may be the same number as your EIN, but it's always, in some cases, this might change. Okay, and so once you have that, especially if you want to hire staff in Illinois, you definitely have to register with the Illinois Department of Revenue. Now they change their regulations all the time, so it's just better to go to the website and see what's really to see the most up-to-date information. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to form an LLC in Illinois. So basically, there are 5 steps. You name your Illinois LLC. You appoint a registered agent in Illinois. You file Illinois Articles of Organization. You create an operating agreement, and you apply for an EIN. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.